All right, we're gonna watch chat tournament. Let's say 37 finals between Delial and Reay, who's maybe gonna correct my pronunciation someday. Who knows how to pronounce Reay, but that's okay. They played their first game. I did not see the game. Apparently, Reay had a really bad random and somehow survived it. Let's check out the rules. Make sure we don't miscalculate stuff horribly for depressing reasons. Oops, didn't mean to move that for you. Hopefully okay. Hopefully that's okay. Same plus plus wall, so all the expected, nothing too strange. 7 minutes, so this will be a slow game. I will be playing Football Manager in the background like a responsible human being. In honor of Reay, who introduced me to Football Manager back in the day, I was like, Football Manager's stupid, FIFA is good. He was like, FIFA's fine, but Football Manager is way better. Turns out he was right. But, you know, we can't admit that in public. Okay. What do we got? A 5-3-5-5. That card sucks. Alright. It looks in general, we have 6s going up, 6 to the right, 7 down, and 5 left. Deli has 7 to the right. We can't beat that. 6-1-7-4 in the right situation can handle it a bit, but not generally. We probably have to keep 4-6-7-1 in our hand just to be able to capture that. So they have the 7 to the right. They have a 6 to the left. We can go even with that. So we can fight them with our right power and their left power. We can make some problems for them. That's good to know. We want to be able to make some difficulty for them. The problem is we can't take back our own 6s anyway. So if we started with something like, 6-6-3-3 and 1, saying you can't take back from 2, okay, but you take from 4 and we're in trouble. But worth keeping in mind that our 6s to the right could prove safe later in the game if we can find some way to use them. Now, our highest up is a 6. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze, so... Didn't have time to mute the mic, so I'm sorry. Hopefully you could mute your own. Anyhow. 3-4-7-5 is a problem for up-facing stuff. So we're beaten explicitly in 2 directions, but us going down is not beaten, but 7-4-4-4 covers anything there, and we don't cover 7-4-4 near as well. We can take it one way with 6-1-7-4, but not on the other side of the board. So it's trouble. It's trouble. At this point, I'd probably be thinking, like, what's a weak corner I can play? Or mid-weak corner that my other cards can play off. So I might be thinking 5-3-5-5 and 9. I think that's a pretty normal starter in that, like, all your other cards are not that upset to see it. All of them have at least 1 capture on it. All card at least a little bit faces the action. You have 2 cards for 3. That's a little unpleasant. But I don't think you need 5-3-5-5 in your hand. Am I excited about it? No. If 3-6-5-6 lands an 8, I'd love to have a capture from 7. I don't have that. I'd like a little more power facing the argument. So there is the action. So there is an argument for something like 5-3-5-5 and 7. Make your cards for 3 a little happier. But it makes 6-6-3-3 a bunch unhappier. Maybe not, though, because if it can ever land in 4 or 8, it is hopefully difficult for the opponent to take, at least in one direction. It's not great, though. Yeah, I'd be thinking 5-3-5-5 and 9. It's just... They only have 1 capture from 6, so we potentially make something at least a little complex for them to think about. They have to keep an eye on something. It doesn't lose our most powerful power in any direction. It's our weakest card, the one I'm happiest to get out of my hand, and the rest of my hand is relatively happy to see it. Now, if we look at Deli's hand, he has a card that kind of wants to go side to side and down at the bottom, a card that wants to go up right, 2 cards that really want to be going up, and a card that wants to go down. In general, he's clearly more up-oriented and more left-oriented, though the up-down gap is bigger than the left-right gap. So in general, I definitely want to start putting stuff low on the board, and I want to start ideally putting something in the bottom left if I'm talking to Deli's cards, but if I'm talking to my cards, I think bottom right is a little more natural a fit. And usually I care a little more about what I've got than what my opponent's got. So not thinking, too in-depth calculation here. That's where I've ended up. 5-3, 5-5 in 9. Reay tends to like side starters a lot more than I do, though, and specifically defensive side starters. Now, if we were thinking aggressive side starters, but we don't have them beat in any direction, you really got to have them beat in some direction. You know, like if you have 7-4-4-4 in your hand, you can kind of drop any card in 2 and make it work as a starter, as long as they don't have combo play against the 7-4-4-4. So you got to check they can't combo that from below. So if we like traded a card in Ray's hand for a card in Deli's hand for the 7-4-4-4, suddenly I'd start thinking a lot of starters in 2 are plausible. Because I'd mostly be fine chucking whatever there. Because as long as you cover 1 and 3, I think this is a much more important trait of a side starter than whether you can retake as easily. I've come around to that belief. I think that is a relatively unusual belief and potentially wrong, but that is where I am on side starters, is I've started to like them more than I used to, but more dependent on having aggressive features than the kind of typical defensive ones. All right, have I set my football manager side up correctly? Yeah, that's what I want to send out. Okay. And let that run mostly on its own as the game plays, and we'll come back to this. He starts 6-1-7-4 in 1. Now he has a recapture in 4. In general, though, I think this isn't scary for Deli to see. And he has a couple ways to try to attack this. One is, if he takes from 2 directly, presumably your concept is to go in 4. I think against a direct capture from 2, like say 6-7-1-3 and 2. Or no, let's keep that card. Say 3-6-5-6 and 2. You're really unlikely to have play in 3. So you're probably intending to do your recapture in 4. And now Deli plays 6-7-1-3 and 7. And suddenly, like, you can barely take anything. Your only capture on board is 6-6-3-3 and 5, and that only takes 2, which is, I guess, safe, actually. So maybe you have some play there. But that feels, I guess that explicitly in that line does actually tie, probably. Also, after 2, you should check if you have 6, which I didn't look for. And 5-3-5-5 and 6 is pretty strong there. Yeah, that should be sufficient. Okay, so 3-6-5-6 and 2 is not the answer. So say 7-2-5-5 and 2. You again can try some setup stuff in 6, like 6-6-3-3, but I think that's a card you want to hold on to. Incidentally, 6-6-3-3 can also be the recapture in 4, which is probably a part of Drew's idea. But even then, you're so unlikely to... Both of them have 6s to the right. So fundamentally, like, I think a really plausible path from Deli is attack in 2, force 4, and then play 7. And you're going to have 7 and 4 locked in, and Reay needs to kind of capture 2 to have much play at all. I think this is tough. And I think you do want to attack this immediately, because I think Ray's recapture is a major concession. Now, there's certainly other stuff you could do. 7-2-5-5 and 9 is just saying, okay, I can deal with your starter. Can you deal with essentially my starter? And the answer is that might be pretty hard to deal with. That also looks like a very appealing move. Instinctively, I do not think 3 or 7 are as strong. And I do not think this is a position for 6 or 8. 6 or 8, in my eyes, are when you want to control the direction of the game, and Deli doesn't need to here. I also don't think you want to play in 5. 5 gives a ton of options to change the nature of the game, and I would tend to only want to do it if I was okay with changing what I feel is the control of the game. That's my current mindset anyway. I constantly change. This is probably somewhat visible in these videos, as I have some general things, but also any given day I'll be seeing different things. Which is part of the reason, like, people say, you know, in a game, okay, obviously random changes this, but like in chess, people often say there's no luck. But how I think each day differs, right? How I think each hour is a little different. And so whether I happen to be, you know, this hour or that hour isn't technically lucky from my perspective. You know, I try to stay in good form. I'm going to vary. I don't exactly control the variance. You know, you can do some stuff to help, but in general, you're going to vary. But you also don't control your opponent's variance, right? They're going to differ, and you don't control the hour you catch them. So of course, because you know, when you play the same player, you don't play the exact same game every time, and you only control some of the variance in that game. Your opponent controls some, and I would say you don't control some of your own variance, though some people disagree there. They're wrong. But it is to say, you know, you play someone one day, it's kind of different than playing them another day. I think that's a little less true in closed, but in closed, because you don't have complete information anyway, it's added in a whole different degree of variance. But people vary. That said, my current state of mind is, if I'm happy with my situation against a starter, which I would be in Deli's shoes here, I would almost never play in 5. I think people play in 5 far more than they should. I find that a really scary place to play. On the other hand, if you're in a must-win scenario, I think 5 is a good option. I think it is. I just think it gives the opponent too many options, but when people are given a lot of options, they often find one that gets themselves in trouble. So I think it is often good for creating winning chances, but I am more a security-minded individual on most days. My instinct here is attack immediately or far corner. The far corner argument is, I have your starter under control, I feel good about my captures, I'm not too scared about your recaptures, I can just leave it alone, you're not going to build out there, I'm comfortable against your starter, I have multiple captures from 4, everything captures in 2, so I'm just going to create something that's difficult for you or create synergy for me, and I think the easiest way to do that is something like 7, 2, 5, 5, and 9. So I think that is a strong candidate move. The other argument is to say, I don't think your recaptures are sufficient, and so I'm going to immediately attack them. Now that's a very forcing way to play. Deli has picked up Tarama 7444. I didn't check 4. I could also imagine, okay, so he goes for a similar concept to 7255, but says he doesn't need Tarama in his hand anymore. I don't like this move instinctively. And I will tell you for why. Let's say Reay plays 4671 in 2. Now, Deli may have a setup he's already seen in 6. If so, we'll check for that in a moment. But let's just say the kind of standard line. Reay plays in 2. Deli probably wants to capture from 4, right? Reay has just put a card on the board that's very hard to take. He's threatening to lock in a second card. Deli probably wants to capture. And if he does capture, Reay can now play 6, 6, 3, 3, and 7. And both 4 and 7 will be Reay's. And 2, right? That's kind of like 3 cards on board Deli can't take to 1. And if we compare this to if we started with 7, 2, 5, 5, and 9, and Reay played 4, 6, 7, 1, and 2, now we would play 7, 4, 4, 4, and 4, a card that we have a much easier time retaking if needed, and that sets us up in 5. With 3, 6, 5, 6, potential threat in 5. I haven't checked if there's stuff that combos that. You know, it's not that you're necessarily playing that immediately, but it is a potential threat. So for Reay, I liked a different starter, but you know, that I would pick different moves these games does not mean my moves are better. I'm just saying where my instincts are, and these are 2 very good players. I also haven't been playing much of recent, so my form may be bad, so I would in general trust what they're doing over what I'm saying. That said, though, I feel this starter was attackable. In general, specifically for picking between whether to go in 2 or 9, I think 2, as a response to the starter in 1, was really likely to force at least a tie. I think if I go 2 there, and you don't have a big setup in 6, I'm never losing that game, and I have a good chance to win it. And there's a chance that, some 2, 4, 7 sequence just wins on the spot. But if it doesn't, then 2, 4, 7, you have to find an accurate move. And with 5 moves left, what are the odds a good player finds an accurate move in a difficult spot? You may give a different number than I would, but I would say mathematically that might be a 50-50, right? That might be something like I play in 2 and I'm maybe 50% to win, 50% to tie. That might be overstating the win possibility and understating the chance of losing because, losing chances are real. But I would say I would look at that move as I'm playing for 2 results, a win or a tie, and I have pretty decent chances at a win. Maybe it's more 40% win, 60 tie, or 33-67, whatever you want, but something like that. If I go in 9, the game is going to be more complex, less forcing. So if I go in 2 and they go in 4, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go in 7 next move, and I'm pretty sure that's a good move, right? So I know I will reach move 6 having played moves that I think must be good for me. And I don't think I'm going to lose the game on move 6, and that's why I assign it 0 value to a loss. I think I will not reach a position I think I should save all positions that are savable on move 6, but even if I shouldn't, I should be able to save all, pretty good positions on move 6, and I think I'll reach a pretty good position. So part of the reason I think that move is more forcing of a tie is because it forces the action more, such that I know I won't make a mistake this move, I know I won't make a mistake next move, and I should be pretty confident move 6 onwards, even if I was a bit worse than I am, that I'm pretty safe there. So I think if I play 2, I'm just not losing the game. Unless I've missed, again, something in 6 or something in 3. But I feel pretty good about that. I think, generally speaking, I play a move in 2 against 1 in this specific situation. I'm not going to lose, and I have decent winning chances. Okay, you go in 9 instead. The game's going to be more complex next turn. There's going to be multiple decisions to make next turn. There's likely not going to be an obviously correct move, right? So I'm going to have to make a good move on move 4. If I make a bad move on move 4, I can lose. That's why I think playing far corner is a move that has higher chances to lose here, because I don't know that my next move's going to be strong. I haven't kind of eliminated the portion of the game where I can make a losing mistake, right? On the other hand, it creates more difficult decisions for the opponent, right? They have a tough decision this turn, they have a tough decision next turn. So I think it raises my winning chances and my losing chances. Now, 7, 2, 5, 5, and 9. Okay, this is another move. I should start putting these in the database, so one moment. This is certainly not what I was expecting, but that doesn't mean it's bad. So we got 6, 1, 7, 4, and 1, which I did not like. 7, 4, 4, 4, and 9, which I did not like. And 5, 3, 5, 5, and 6, which instinctively I don't love. I don't love. Okay. Delial has the option to block 8. But actually, I want to stick on my previous topic because I can't calculate right now, so staying on vague stuff is useful. I think in general, playing more forcingly makes it easier for both players to stay within tie range. But kind of the advantage of forceful play is it can often lock in that tie range more for you than your opponent. And more abstract play, like Delial's starting move, is going to lead to more decisions over the course of the game, because fundamentally this is a very short game, right? Let's say you have perfect calculation move 6 onwards. You need to survive 2 moves of the game. You need to not be dead on move 2 and not be dead on move 4. Let's assume your random isn't a forced loss. You have 2 moves to survive, right? That's very little time. You just have to make 2 good moves and you can get a result. And yet that's really hard because this is a complex and very interesting game. But it does mean the more forcing you can play, the more you can get those moves out of the way and make sure you haven't lost. And if the goal isn't losing, I think forceful play is very logical. However, if the goal is winning, you do want to start playing more abstractly, because that way you can leave your opponent more decisions to make as well, and with so few decision points, you need to maximize the number of decisions they're making. Okay, so let's think a little about this position. To me, the intuitive squares are 8, locking in a card, 3, potentially being safe, though in this case, not being safe and conceding 4, 6, 7, 1, and 2. So I'd pretty quickly knock out 3, right? I guess there's a case, it takes everything, right? It has the same against 3, 6, 5, 6. So 3 is kind of out of the question. So you're on 8. The next square I'd look at is 3. The next square I'd look at is 2, specifically looking to set up something useful in 5. Now, I don't love the look of 2. I don't like 4 in these positions. There are lots of players that play 4. 4 is structurally sound. If you like to play 4 in these positions, that is defensible. Whatever my style is do not go in 4 here. 5 can work with the right either combo potential, or sometimes, and this is more kind of Tezuka or occasionally Vialva kind of move, playing 5 not to create mass synergies for you, but just because the opponent plays so badly off it. I have trouble seeing those moves. I would almost never play in 5 here. 7. Is there a case for something like 6, 7, 1, 3, and 7? I don't think so. I think Reay would just take from 4. I'm liking Ray's move more now, because I don't like 3, and I don't love 8. And 2 doesn't feel right to me. I think 6, 6, 3, 3 will be, if you go 2 and 3 and 5 get filled, that 6, 6, 3, 3 is going to be a good sweeper at the end. It's going to take enough cards. Ray, I think, isn't going to ever lose that. Dudley does sometimes find good moves in 7. I don't see why this would be a 7 spot. So I think you want to continue in 8 here. And I think Ray's move is significantly better than I first thought it was. And I'm curious, it may have also been the response against 7, 2, 5, 5, and 9. In which case, nice response. I always appreciate moves, not necessarily immediately, but after taking some time to think about them, that block a square that's dead to you. Now here it feels like it's giving a free lock-in, but that card was kind of going to be locked in anyway. And whatever card Deli puts in 8, that will be a new onboard concession. And it also gives something else that 6633 is pretty good at taking. And I think 6633 is kind of all our endgame hopes and dreams. Given that Deli will not be making a mistake on move 6 this game, Deli has one more move to make for Reay to have any winning chances here. And so this is a spot where if Deli doesn't screw up here, just to keep going with what we've talked about in this game so far, he's not going to lose this game. And I do think Reay found a nice use for the 5-3-5-5, though I think it also shows that it might have been a nice starter in 9, as someone may have pointed out, that just getting that card over in the bottom right of the board is not so difficult for Reay to recapture, but is difficult for Deli to do something with. But if you're Deli here, you're looking for some way to crack Reay. Right? This is not desperate to find a tie mode or something. This is, did Reay find a move sufficient to neutralize my pressure? And the answer is, from Deli's position, hopefully no. But I think I'd stick something in 8. I'm really not sure what. There's not really an ideal card to put there. Maybe 6, 7, 1, 3. But then you give up your capture in 4. And 3, 4, 7, 5, which is the card he goes with, is giving up, captures in 3, and if the game starts heading down, is potentially a card you'll really miss in your hand. For instance, I have to pause my recording. We have moved locales. My computer's making noise now. Hopefully that doesn't come through, but let's keep talking about this move. It does have a potential down issue, right? So 6-6-3-3 and 7 comes to mind. When Deli's 7-2-5-5 probably doesn't ever want to land in 5 because 4-6-7-1 and 4 hits it really hard. 3-6-5-6 could. So 3-6-5-6, the score is currently 5-5, would make it 6-4 in 5. And that probably wins there, actually. Am I making that up? 6-4. Because something like 4-6-7-1 and 4 doesn't flip anything. It's still 6-4, and then 6-7-1-3 and 2 makes it 7-3. And you don't have a double capture at the end. So unless I'm just counting wrong, which I might be, I don't think that's the right path. Okay, so this move has some juice. It does interestingly give Reay like pluses everywhere, right? He has a plus in 5, he has a plus wall in 7, but they're probably not doing very much. Yeah, 3-6-5-6 landing in 5 is like really nice for Deli, right? 6-7-1-3 is just such a great card there. So maybe that's just the square you want to remove. Just say that's off the board. Not for you. If so, how would we do it? Not a great way to do so. Okay. Move looks better to me all the time. So I think what I'd do if I was Drew here is I'd start looking at 4-6-7-1 and 2. I noticed that square being really appealing in another line, and I think it's still appealing here. Does it work? 3-6-5-6 and 3, say, makes it 7-3. 4-4-6-5, yeah, no, that loses. Okay, that doesn't work. Okay, so this is a really strong move from Deli. He picked the right card. And now this is scary for Drew. And I'm not immediately seeing great options. What about 4-6-7-1 in 5? Say 6-7-1-3 and 7. Nah, this is going to lose. That's not going to work, yeah. Where's the out? Not that there's guaranteed to be an out. Okay, what about 4-6-7-1 in 3? If you put anything with a 5 down in 2, I get a nice plus in 5. Or actually, maybe even, yeah, because I can do that with either 4-4-6-5 or 6-6-3-3. So maybe 4-4-6-5 in 3. If you take it with 6-7-1-3, then you go up 7-3. But I have a double capture in 5 with... Oh, that doesn't work. You have 3-6-5-6 and 7 at the end. I feel like there's something here, but I'm not finding it. And there's a chance there just isn't. 6-6-3-3 and 7 really felt like the move, but 3-6-5-6 and 5 just hurts so much. 5 is just a really rough square here. I do feel like I'm missing something, but this might just be winning for Deli. Nice realization that he didn't need to hold on to 3475, because me kind of not calculating too much in depth, this was the card that went there that made the least concessions, but it still felt like a pretty big concession. But this is very powerful looking. 4671 has been picked up. Now that could go in 7, because that controls 5 a bit. Yeah, because then if 5, you could block, you could play 3. And 44565 is a decent sweeper there. Yeah, I didn't check everything there. He goes in 3. That was my other idea. I now think 7 may have been the better choice, but your 6633 is going to be so dead. So this is nice control of 2, right? Except for 6713, which would make it 7-3. But you can now capture... Oh yeah, because you get to flip back 1. I've been counting things wrong. I'm having a lot of trouble calculating right now. But okay. 6713 and 2 makes it 7-3. 4465 in 5 makes it 5-5. If they go in 7, your 6633 recaptures 1, and you will still be left with 5 cards, right? You're going to have 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. And if they go in 5, your 6633 is a great sweeper. So you have anything in 2 handled. You will tie there. I think I miscounted that earlier. If Deli goes 3, 6, 5, 6, and 5, here, that's not such a big problem. You stay calm. You go 4, 4, 5, 6, and 2, and 6, 6, 3, 3 will recapture enough cards at the end. Okay. If Deli goes in 7. 7 is scary. Let's check 4 first. 4 is easier. Deli puts an unidentified card in 4. I think... Alright. If that card is 6713, we can play 4465 in 2. And that will make it 5-5. And 6633 will be sufficient there to hold the tie. Yeah. At least a tie. If they put another card in 4, then I think we put 6633 in 7. We'll go up 7-3. And they won't have enough stuff. Or 4465 will be sufficient to hold that endgame. Okay, so the scary square I think is 7. I think it's 7. If Deli goes 6, 7, 1, 3, and 7, then Reay can go 6, 6, 3, 3, and 4 at the minimum. And that has his remaining card has all the combo potential needed against 5s facing down, and against something in 5 that can only take 1 card, and he takes 1 card back. What if Deli goes 7, 2, 5, 5, and 7? Does the same concept work? No, because 6, 7, 1, 3, and 5 is now a threat. So 7, 2, 5, 5, and 7 is the potential move here. But I think Reay has 4, 4, 6, 5. No, he doesn't. I was going to say his 4, 4, 6, 5, and 2, which would hold if 6, 7, 1, 3, and 5 didn't have a plus. But it does have a plus. So that might be it. Unless I'm missing something, I think Deli should go 7, 2, 5, 5 in 7. And I think this defensive concept did not quite hold. We will double check in a moment, but I'm going to finish typing in the moves. 3, 4, 7, 5, 8, 4, 6, 7, 1, 3. And now I'm expecting 7, 2, 5, 5, and 7. Which we can actually just, let's check all the lines. It's currently 5, 5, 7, 2, 5, 5, and 7. It stays 5, 5, easy to count. If 4, 4, 6, 5, and 4, it's still 5, 5. And I can play, say, 3, 6, 5, 6, and 5. Double captures, goes up 7, 3. You have no recapture, no combo or anything. You lose. Okay. So instead you go 6, 6, 3, 3, and 4. but then I play 6, 7, 1, 3, and 5. That flips 6, so I go up 6, 4, and you have no flip back, so I win. If you go 4, 4, 6, 5 in 5, that very cleverly sets up quite a bit of stuff, including a plus in 2, but the problem is I take 3 from 2, and you don't flip anything back, actually. That one's close. If you go 6, 6, 3, 3, and 5 instead, after I go 7, then you can't recapture that card from 2, so all I have to do is play in 4 while taking it. If you go 4, 4, 6, 5, and 2, I have a plus 6, 7, 1, 3, and 5, and that combos the card in 3, which is what makes it enough to win. And if you go 6, 6, 3, 3, and 2, then I think I have 6, 7, 1, 3, and 5 again with the double capture. Yeah. So 7, 2, 5, 5, and 7 should be a win unless I've calculated something wrong. But we've done it all out loud. And the thing about doing calculation out loud is a good calculator will be able to do this faster than I am able to speak it. And so unless I've made a mistake here in this calculation, I think Deli is just completely locked to find this, unless there are so many other ideas he wanted to spend time on that he didn't get there. And I think that's the only way you see someone like this screw up this kind of position, which does not mean I think he will. I think he's going to make the correct move, or if he makes a different move, that will turn out to be correct too. But there's lots of options. Like, you still might want 3, 6, 5, 6, and 5, because 6, 7, 1, 3 is so dominant there. It doesn't work because 4, 4, 6, 5, and 2 is a tie there, but maybe you wanted to check that because you saw that in other lines. And maybe then you start first check every move in 2, and that's a whole bunch of moves to check. But I think in practice, this is, unless I'm wrong, this is going to be found. But Deli always makes it scary. And maybe Drew confused it enough. You know, I get less I know Deli always uses his time, so it's easy to fake me out here. But I get less confident a player will find the key idea the lower their time gets, right? If I see something clear and have 2 minutes on the clock, I'll usually just make the move then. Right, he does go 3, 6, 5, 6, and 5. I'm very curious if I missed some calculation here, because it seems to me that 4, 4, 6, 5, and 2 is straightforward hold. So I'm very curious here, because I think this is a case of saw moves in a different variation. And I think that's easy to do, and is the way you screw up. But it's also where you get good ideas from. Like, it's one of those things where, like, creative players will find moves, will find concepts somewhere, and then see it in other positions. Like, a reason I looked at 4, 6, 7, 1, and 2, which turned out to be a bad move, but the reason I looked at it was because I had seen it elsewhere. It's not like the first place I'd look on the board, given where the cards were in 1, 6, 8, and 9, right? You see an idea in one line, and it comes to you in other lines. So I guess we'll do the solver check, I guess, on camera here, and then we'll call it. Very curious game. I like Ray's move in 3. Like, he may have missed an actual tie, but it was sufficiently confusing that it worked. Again, I don't love the starter, but he did enough, I guess. Maybe I missed something. At this point, my guess is I did. But if Deli did, and you kind of have to assume your calculations are correct, or you're just gonna, like, not be able to figure anything out. I think it was he had too many things to look at, because there were lots of potentially appealing moves there, and B, he had seen some concepts in other variations that were really appealing. But I think in this case, not the answer. is this running? Trying to switch you over to the solver. Just being slow and confused today. But let's make the switch. Hopefully you're there. So we started with, nope, I've put the cards in for the wrong hands. Great. Give me just a moment. Flip them. I can only make the first move with whoever the red hand player is. So we have to switch the hands. Alright, Reay starts in 1. I don't love this move. Delial replies in 9, which wasn't the card I wanted in 9, but I do think 9 was a good idea. And the solver is suggesting, it'll take a little while to calculate this out, but I think fairly high pressure. Reay plays 5-3, 5-5 to 6, and indeed, this is a non-losing move. Reay finds a hold here. Delial plays 3-4, 7-5, and 8, which I think was the best move. And most of Reay's moves tie here. I thought this was really close to losing. Do I have the rules in wrong? Was I just completely off this game? Should make sure the rules are on right. One sec. Just testing if plus wall is on. Yeah, plus wall is on. Okay. So this was much less dangerous than I thought. Reay goes here. And yeah, this was losing to this. Okay. Weird game. Weird game. What was the tie here? What was my best guess at a tie? My best guess at the end was maybe here. That does tie. Okay, I wasn't sure though. It all felt like stuff like this was really messy. Though here I specifically played to cover it. Oh, I have the cards in wrong. I have 6, 7, 1, 3 in the wrong hand. Okay, that explains everything. I've done a terrible job at putting the cards in. That's great. Great work. Sorry, I'm trying to finish up this video quick and just failing here. So Drew did not have 6, 7, 1, 3. He had 6, 6, 3, 3. Delial had 6, 7, 1, 3. Okay, one more time. Can we get this right? Drew plays 6, 1, 7, 4. Delial plays 7, 4, 4, 4. Drew plays 5, 3, 5, 5, and 6. According to Monsieur Solver, this is a non-losing move. Well done. Delial plays an 8, which I think was correct. And Drew has only 3 ties. Okay, that fits more what I thought. I think one of them might have been here. I am incorrect. That was losing. Cool. Drew tried here. And there is one winning move, and it is 7, 2, 5, 5, and 7. Okay, so there was a missed win here. A tie here would have been blocking 5. Okay, that seems scary to do, but it did make some logical sense to try to block 5. This move I did not look at, and this move I did not look at. So the moves that were ties were not very intuitive to me. I had checked most other moves and not gotten there. This one, I don't remember what my eval was, but I did think blocking 5 didn't quite work. The blocking 5 made a lot of sense. Tricky position, because this is a card you so want to keep for facing action over here that it was not the card I really considered putting in 2 or 3. Might be a position worth looking at for a bit to try to figure out how that works and understand why you would want to get rid of such a valuable card in your hand. Really tough position to save. I think Delial's move in 8 was really strong. That said, I do suspect this was the better way to go. After Delial's move in 9, 20 moves lost and 8 moves tied. So I'm going to get the alternative score from this move soon. If we check specifically if the game had continued the same way, this would have been pretty similar. There are 2 ties here instead of 3, but they might be in easier squares to find. My move, there's 1 more losing move for Reay. I think pretty similar value. I thought there were more differences than there were. Okay. Is there anything else to check here? This was a very tough position to save. Drew did not find the save, but Deli went for the move that was the huge setup, but not actually the conversion. And we have a tie, and hopefully they'll continue sometime soon. And hopefully it was an interesting game. Cheers.